No. But whatever you decide, risk's gonna be high if things don't go our way.
Right, so did anyone else have a problem with the 10 out of 10 trophy for reaching max level 20 in any skill? Well, I did, as this was a massive grind, perhaps the grindiest thing in Cyberpunk, and I chose the assault one for using the SMGs and rifles, as I like those weapons, and I pretty much used those in all of the firefights going forwards. Yet, after beating the game, all the gigs, scanners and some main side missions, I was still nowhere near the max level of 20 at just level 15. The amount of XP required for this is just way too high, so in the end I got it via the crafting one, using the Yukimura pistol exploit, as with that you can just constantly craft that weapon and sell them back to the store to buy more materials to be able to craft more of the pistol in a loop until you reach the max level. Sure, it took a few hours, but it was the best way to get this dumb and grindy trophy out of the way. Now, the Christmas tree attack trophy for beating a breach protocol with all 3 uploaded was an absolute pain, because this minigame, for me at least, was just really confusing, and even after getting the trophy now, I'm still not really sure how I did it. Oftentimes I'd be playing this hacking minigame and I'd think I'd have the right number, and then as soon as I've pressed it I notice I've just failed one of the nodes and lost my chance to upload all 3, or I just run out of options to pick or numbers to be able to do. You 100% definitely need the perk upgrade to give you more slots so you can press more numbers, as this will make it much easier, but even then I reloaded my save at this terminal multiple times before the game finally decided to let me win, so this just sucked. The Gunslinger trophy for shooting out a grenade in mid-air sounds easy, but the main problem with this one was just getting enemies to actually throw them, as most of the time they would just sit behind cover and just eventually pop up and shoot you and not actually throw any grenades. And then when they would just throw them, it would kind of catch me off guard, because I'd be like, holy crap, they finally threw one, and I'd just end up missing it when I try to shoot it. And most of the time you'll just be sitting there behind cover yourself, staring at an enemy in front of you also behind cover, waiting for them to throw it, only to then get shot by another enemy in a firefight who has flanked you, or worse, you get killed. So yeah, I was really relieved and thankful when this one popped up, and thankfully you only have to do it once. Using the Berserk cyberware to kill 2 enemies with a superhero landing to unlock the Rough Landing trophy was a real pain in the butt, as this seemed to be a very glitchy, or rather very picky trophy that just refused to unlock, even when I met the requirements. So I brought the perk, and after that my main issue was just finding a bunch of enemies close enough together that were also by something high enough for me to jump off of and do the move. I started going with it against cops, jumping into a crowd of 3 or 4, slamming down on them, yet the trophy wouldn't pop. So then I moved on to gang members and did the same thing with those after finding this cool little spot here, but every time I slammed down on them, whether I would kill all the enemies, incapacitate them all, or have a mixture, they just wouldn't pop the trophy, even when there was more than 2 enemies in the pile. It's a trophy just wouldn't pop, and I didn't really know why, and after looking online I found a bit of advice saying to knock enemies out first and then pile them all up in a massive pile to then jump on them. So I did just that and the trophy unlocked, but honestly I really don't see the difference between jumping on them when they're standing up to jumping on them when they're just lying down asleep. You're still killing them, so the trophy should have popped the first time round. So this one was just really annoying. I also had trouble with the Demon in the Shell trophy for killing or incapacitating 3 enemies with 1 detonate grenade quick hack, mainly because after completing the game and most of the side missions, I still didn't even have this ability because none of the enemies that I'd looted ever dropped the detonate grenade mod. So first problem I had was just getting this, and after looking online I found an area near the north area of the chapel to fast travel to and take out some enemies, and after respawning those enemies multiple times after killing them and not getting anything, I eventually managed to pick up this perk off of one of the bodies of the Netrunner. And now it was just a case of getting 3 enemies together and blowing up all of them with a grenade. And the problem was, after having done most of the side missions and gigs, there weren't really that many enemies around anymore. But eventually I found some, and after doing the ability, the grenade blew up, but I didn't get the trophy because it was a shock grenade. And one of the annoying things about this is, even when you scan enemies, you can't actually tell what grenade they've got. So it's just a guessing game of doing it and hoping that it's an actual grenade that blows up and not the shock one. And if it is a shock one, then, well, you're screwed because you've got to wait now for the thing to cool down. And for me, it never seemed to cool down, so I couldn't do it again, which forced me to then reload a save and find the enemies again and eventually get one with a grenade to get this trophy. But yeah, way awkward than it needed to be, this one. The Quick and the Dead was also another annoyingly awkward trophy, as it requires you to kill 50 enemies while time was slowed. So I eventually acquired the cyberware implants to be able to do the slowdown, but the first one I got was one where I would just slide and get slow-mo if I aimed while sliding for 2 seconds. And trying to do this to kill enemies was just really awkward because I would either not be able to kill them in one hit to get it before the time thing ran out, or I would have to then just awkwardly run around and keep sliding, but I would slide past the enemy and not be able to turn and aim before the thing ran out. So this one just took me ages, and eventually I realised that you could just buy another one that allowed you to just press L1 and R1 while standing to do slow-mo, and that lasted for a lot longer. So once you get that perk, this trophy became more easy, but when I was just sliding, this was really frustrating and awkward to try and get, and 50 enemies is quite a lot, especially in the end game. The final annoying trophy for me was the frequent flyer trophy for finding all of the fast travel points. So for me, in my opinion, there's way too many fast travel points in this to have it as a collectible. And the most annoying thing about this is that after several patches of Cyberpunk, the developers decided to add more fast travel points onto the map, meaning that when I'm playing it now on this patch, there's even more of these that I've got to find to get this trophy than people who played it day one. So for this trophy at least, it was better off playing it day one compared to all the others that are better off playing it now. One of the cool things about it though is that you don't have to actually use all of these fast travel points. Instead, you just need to drive near them and they will just appear on your map. But it can be a real pain when you've only got 1 or 2 left to find and you're trying to find which ones you're missing by counting all of the blue pins on your map. It's just really awkward to track them all. I wish they would have just all appeared on the map but just greyed out until you found them, so at least then you could just more easily track it and see where the ones you're missing are. So yeah, that's all of the other annoying trophies in Cyberpunk 2077 that I came across. Any ones that you think aren't on this list that should have been, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.